Adam Taxin talking with Bob Guzzardi, who is the editor of thelibertyblog.org. It is early the morning of Sunday, August 12th, 2012. It's been 24 hours or so since the news about Paul Ryan as Mitt Romney's VP candidate has come out. Bob and I were a little behind as Shabbos observant, or at least kind of observant Jews. We are sort of catching up. We caught up last night. But Bob, I want to get your initial thoughts about the selection, first of all.
Well, I think that the argument is going to be a very divided one. The electorate and the media are divided, and I think that we're going to see a lot of class warfare, demonization, division in this upcoming election. This point has been made by several people. Jonathan Tobin wrote a piece in commentary, and Victor Davis Hanson wrote something called The Chicago Way. I got an email this morning from the Agenda Project throwing Granny off the cliff. So we're going to see a very divisive demonization. The Obama campaign has been very successful in getting Barack Obama elected using these Zelensky-like tactics, and they're going to go after Paul Ryan.
As they would any Republican.
As they would any Republican or anybody who disagrees with their agenda. It's not necessarily any Republican. Barack Obama did it to his Democratic opposition when he was running for state Senate and for U.S. Senate. So anybody gets in their way, and Stanley Kurtz makes the point that this is stealth socialism. I actually call it a kind of corporate fascism. Mm-hmm. But whatever you want to call it, it is a type of statism and a democratic European socialist agenda that he is clearly pressing. And anybody gets in that way gets the Chicago treatment, and that means demonization. They're already saying that Paul Ryan wants to throw Granny under the bus. Totally untrue. His program does not affect the existing people or people who are under 55 or over 55 who are in line to get this program. But it is unsustainable, and he makes the point. I don't know if you've seen the 6-minute video when he eviscerates Obamacare right to the president's face.
What's the link for that? Where can people find that?
You can find that link at, let me see, I had it just...
Oh, don't worry about it. I'll find it on YouTube. What's the title?
If you go on to YouTube, you'll find it.
You put in Paul Ryan eviscerates Obama or something like that, and I guess people will find it. It'll make the round.
It's all over the place. But now I'm reading something about... in The Hill, which is a news magazine, online news magazine that covers Washington, the Democrats and the left are dizzy with happiness that they picked Paul Ryan because they can personalize it, target him, isolate him, and just make him the worst person in the world.
But again, they would do that for any Republican, and they'd say they're happy they picked him for any Republican. They're not happy that they picked Ryan. They would have much preferred someone who's weaker.
Yeah, and they would have much preferred somebody who could not defend his position. You have a combination here. They went after Paul Ryan because he lacked private sector experience.
Right.
Well, his partner is Mitt Romney, who has plenty of private sector experience. So you know, whatever the Republicans do, it's absolutely wrong. And I think they're going to have a tough time with it in making a coaching case, but they don't have to make a coaching case.
Right.
I'm reading Russell Simon is quoted in The Blaze. He's saying Obama is going to destroy the poor people of this country. That it's just terrible, and you know, it's just going to be the worst thing that's ever happened to the poor people, the black people of America, because he's going to take away Social Security and take away welfare.
Bob, I want to make the point that it's kind of ironic, of course, that Obama and Biden are the ones complaining about Ryan's private sector experience. But you talked a little bit about the Agenda Project, and I just want people to get familiar with the throwing Granny off a cliff, and also what happened in the New York congressional race, where they used scare tactics, and the Republicans were not prepared in a way to defend them at the last minute, the way they obviously will be with Ryan here. Can you catch us up? We want to catch up the listeners right now.
I get regular emails from an Erica, E-R-I-C-A Payne, who...
Andrea Payne, right?
What's that?
Andrea Payne, no?
Andrea?
Is it
Erica?
Oh, it's Erica Payne. Okay.
Erica Payne. She said that I'm just playing off the cliff. And, it's all over the place. She's somebody who is, a demagogue on behalf of the left, and she puts out these scare tactics. It is all scare tactics, and it's telling people that they're going to have all their free money taken away from them. And
right.
It's one thing if you're 25 years old and able-bodied. If you're 75 and in a wheelchair, it's scary stuff. Although none of what Ryan or any of the other people talking about reforming Social Security and Medicare have ever said it applies to anybody over 55. It's just not feasible, and it's not going to be done. And yet, but that doesn't stop anybody. But you see it in the Hill, media mogul Russell Simmons, co-founder of Def Jam. He's describing Mitt Romney as destroying all the poor people, and the two rich men will destroy our people and let all the way back with your rich friends. I pray it will never happen, he said.
Well, who cares what a hip hop so-called musician like Russell Simmons think? And he lives pretty.
I care a lot. No. I think that he talks to the kids in ways that listen to them. Hollywood is united.
Yeah, I know.
In the cultural warfare. This cultural issue is not to be underestimated. That's Victor Davis Hanson's point. It doesn't matter the truth. If Russell Simmons of hip hop comes out and says this is bad for black people, you're going to see it all over the place. Nobody thinks about this. The constant message from all the networks, from all the left-wing cable TV shows, is going to be that Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney are rich guys who are giving the pass to the rich people, so the rich will get richer and the poor and exploited and the blacks will all be thrown under the bus along with Granny.
Yeah,
it's going to be a constant message. Greed is good. Gordon Gekko. These guys are Gordon Gekko. All they care about is money and rich people and getting richer and richer and richer at your expense.
Yeah.
It's going to be a constant thing. It has been a cultural theme out of Hollywood for at least 30 years. I don't remember any movie that's ever said a businessman has been productive and contributes to society by providing goods and services. There's nothing that glamorizes a venture capitalist. They're always conspiring to poison people with pharmaceuticals and all of that. And it's just not true. And this is going to be at the street level. You're going to see it over and over and over again.
Yep.
Endless repetition of this story. And it's worked. It's exactly Reed Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. It's right there. I mean, this is no big secret. And I would even recommend reading Stanley Kurtz's Radical and Cheap. Excellent book. I just finished reading it. But it lays out in detail, research detail, with many footnotes, sourced. Barack Obama has been tied in with Michael Harrington's socialist network, and it's stealth socialism. They don't say we're going to impose socialism. It's just subtle. It's quiet. They use the words of America. One of those is strengthen the middle class. No, they don't. They want to impose a European democratic socialist system in America.
All right.
That's what they want to do.
Yeah, I was just going to say, my point with Russell Simmons was just that, I mean, how can you take someone seriously? Sell one of your damn houses, you hip-hop so-called musician. You suck. No. I mean, just like, but people aren't, and, I also want to point out they're doing their, I think they're not as clever as they used to be. I watched, which also came out from Andrea, I looked it up. It was not Andrea, it was Erica Payne, not Andrea Payne, her Agenda Project. They put out something called the Romney Girl video, and it's just lame, Can you get some of the leftist writers for John Stewart Leibowitz to make something clever, which may be leftist, but at least it's clever, and they have some over-the-hill actress. Couldn't you have found a pretty girl, or someone who's under 38 to play in the Romney Girl video? I mean, it's just they're not as clever as they think. I'm confident about this, and I think it's a great pick. Any final thoughts specifically about the selection of Paul Ryan as opposed to whoever else you may have been pulling for before we close out?
I thought Paul Ryan is an excellent choice. He's exactly, I think Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan are center-right. They're going to appeal to people that are not on the Sarah Palin or Ron Paul wing of the party, and I think they can attract enough of those people. They're exactly right. I mean, the only problem with them, and I know you're going to be embarrassed at them, but they are white men. And
God forbid.
as a white man, I'm embarrassed about my color. I'm going to go out in the sun and see if I get some
Yes.
I mean, I'm very embarrassed about this.
Horrible.
But,
what have white men contributed to this country in creating it? They had nothing to do with that.
I'm so embarrassed.
They don't make the contributions of Muslims.
Well, the other thing that I'm seeing, and I'm just wondering the Chick-fil-A response, that, it's one thing to bash away, but when you go over the top, then at a certain point, people will turn around and say, wait a minute, this is not true. And I have a feeling, and I don't have any really evidence for this, that people are lying to the pollsters.
Yes.
That they're not telling them the truth. I was down in Florida, and I had somebody put a Romney for president bumper sticker, and she said, no, I'm afraid. I don't know what she's afraid of, but I mean, of course, we live in a community that's, elderly Jewish, so, they're all Obama people. I don't know what they're going to do people with their canes. But there's this feeling out there, and I think at a certain point, there may be a real reaction to this.
Yeah, and that's the David Dinkins effect, like that we saw in '92. People don't want to say, that they're not voting for someone black, but when they're in the polls and it's closed, they will. And that's been written about. And I was going to say one other thing. Oh, you call them center right. My view, actually, when I heard the pick, I was elated as a real conservative, because I don't think there's anyone, with the exception of Alan West, who is more popular. And I see what goes viral. I see what gets the hits on various Facebook sites and web pages. I don't think anyone's more popular than Paul Ryan, period, in the Tea Party. I mean, maybe Jan Brewer's close, maybe Jim DeMint's close, maybe Rand Paul is close. But the only person I can confidently say is more popular among Tea Partiers is Alan West. Other than him, no one.
Well, the problem with the reason that they say Paul Ryan is not conservative, he's voted for TARP and cash for clunkers and a couple of the other big spending bills. That's why they don't see him as a Jim DeMint. Jim DeMint is I don't want to say to the right, he is more focused on cutting spending than Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan, however, has offered a system that can work, and he's taken into account the political considerations as well. Right. It's the Democrats that are blocking and are obstacles to reform, not the Republicans. Paul Ryan knows what he's doing, and you hear him speak in the 6-minute video. I highly recommend it. Total dynamite. Yeah, and he's a lot like Alan West in the way that he speaks. It's very straightforward, very easy to understand, committed, passionate, and he doesn't back down.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was a nice fantasy that we could get Jim DeMint or Alan West or Jan Brewer in there, but, I'll take this pick. I was elated to hear the news when I did yesterday morning, as I'm sure you were, too.
Me too. I thought it was a great pick, and I'm excited about it. And I think it's because Paul Ryan is so articulate. In many ways, he's more articulate and combative than Mitt Romney. And you need a guy that's combative without being really nasty about it. He's just very straightforward, but you can see he doesn't back down and he makes his points. And I think that's what we need to do when he goes head-to-head with Rachel Maddow. We look forward to that. Or can you picture this? The debate between Paul Ryan and Joe Biden. That one we will watch carefully and laugh all the way as he destroys it.
It should be fun.
It'll be good. Well, anyway, good. Thank you very much, Adam.
Yeah, Bob. Let me just pitch. Your website is thelibertyblog.org, and I also have made you, as you know, we have to get this a little more off the ground, a co-administrator for Pennsylvanians, as you're a fellow Pennsylvania, for me, Pennsylvanians for Mitt Romney, but especially against Obama on Facebook page, and we'll try to energize that over the next few days. Bob Guzzardi, thank you for your time today.
All right. Take care, Adam. Bye-bye.